All right, let's go to Canada. We'll talk with Maggie. Hey, Maggie, what do you got for us tonight?
Yeah, hi, Pastor Andrew. I was so glad to meet you at Crystal Beach.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
my question is, I talked with a Jehovah Witness this week, and he debated with me about being born again, and he could not
Hmm.
give me any answer that he was born again.
Oh, okay. And did he ridicule being born again, or did he say it didn't
No,
exist? Uh-huh.
he said I just haven't done enough investigation into being born again.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's interesting because a lot of times Jehovah's Witnesses they really pride themselves on how much they know and how persuasive they can be. So good for him that he was transparent about that. I mean, Jesus talks. Obviously, Jesus is talking to Nicodemus in the Gospel of John about being born again. And it's the very core of the gospel. I mean, Peter, the apostle Peter, picks up the same theme in his letter. He says, "We are born again to a living hope." And the apostle John takes up the same message when he says, "We are born of God and born of the Spirit." So we're born again to a living hope. We're born again spiritually, as Jesus described. We're born of the Spirit and we're born of God. Those are all ways of saying that you've got a new nature. You've got a new heart. You've got a new start. You got a new trajectory, a new destiny, a new future, a new trend in your life, a new pattern, a new tendency, a new power that is Christ Himself. And when we are born of God, it changes what we want and it changes who we are. But you know as well as I do, I mean, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they deny the deity of Christ, so that's a biggie. They basically reject the cross in basic terms. I mean, they believe that Jesus provided a ransom for Adam's sin, but not a ransom for all of humanity. And so they basically limit the finished work of Christ, the propitiation that Jesus purchased. They limit it and don't quite understand it. So what they need to see is 1 John 2:2 and Hebrews 10 that Jesus is sufficient and his sacrifice is enough for the sins of the whole world, and that he can make us perfect. He can make us perfect by one sacrifice, and that's Hebrews 10:14. Well, there's more. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but they have a lot of heresies. I mean, they reject the idea of hell. They reject the idea of an eternal punishment. They basically deny the Holy Spirit as being a person of the Trinity. They say he's just like a force, almost like Star Wars. So he's an influence or a force. So there's a lot of obstacles. What I'm saying is, you're not going to be able to argue somebody into the faith, most likely, but you can always do that bragging on Jesus. And that's what we encourage our listeners to do, whoever you're talking to. If they're a Jehovah's Witness, if they're a Mormon, if they're an atheist, if they're a Muslim, it doesn't matter what they are. You can do your bragging on Jesus. You've got your testimony. You've got the Spirit of God living in you. You've got the influence that Christ has been in your life. You've got what you've learned about His love and grace and forgiveness. That's your testimony. So just brag on Jesus. Be yourself and brag on Jesus. But don't be surprised when people are just trying to debate you and win an argument. You don't have to win. You don't have to win. Nobody in the history of humanity, nobody has ever said, well, I was arguing with you, but you made better points and you win the debate, and now I'm going to be a Christian. I mean, you can't argue people into Christ. And so it really just is about testifying to what you believe to be true about Jesus and his impact in your life. I mean, I like to ask, gosh, what's not to like about this? I mean, my sins are gone. They're remembered no more. They're removed as far as the east is from the west. God keeps no record of anything I've done wrong. He's made me righteous to the max. I mean, I'm the righteousness of God. I'm clean. I'm close. I'm in a vine branches relationship with Jesus. What's not to like about this? I mean, I don't have to fear the final judgment because he remembers my sins no more. In fact, he invites us to judge the world and the angels with him. What's not to like about this? So bragging on Jesus and just bragging on the gospel, how powerful it is, that's the most effective thing that we can do. And sure, it's going to raise eyebrows. People are going to think we're being arrogant or whatever, but we're bragging on Christ. So I hope that helps, gives you something to think about, and reach out to us again anytime.